America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
Kevin, I can't tell you, we both have seen the questions come across where people say, what business should I start? What business should I buy? And I would say that is the biggest obstacle for most people is they just don't know where to begin. And we've both said or asked the question, what is your core skill set? Like, what do you already know? Because that'll cut a lot of the learning curve, right?
Yeah, you got to figure out a couple things. What's your financial situation and what's your skill set? People like what they're good at. So if you've got a background in roofs or you've got a background in concrete, you should be looking for a business like that.
Yeah.
Now, I do think I bought other businesses that I had no experience in. It is kind of widgets at some point, but a first business, I would be buying where your skill set is.
100%. And plus, I think a lot of people put too much pressure on it. They think that this is going to be the business that they carry for the next 20, 30 years. This is what they're going to retire off of. And the reality is, we have both experienced this. I used to have a pressure washer in the back of my mother-in-law's truck, driving the streets, knocking on doors, and I don't do pressure washing. That is not my business concept. And you started with lawn care?
Yeah, it's a starter business. Whatever you start with, it doesn't matter if you're 18 or you're 38, it's not going to be your business in 10 years.
So take the pressure off and sit there, find out what you've got some experience on. I'm in the cleaning and restoration because when I was 14, my dad sat there and bought a cleaning and restoration business. That's where I learned the core skill sets. I learned some business stuff, I learned some sales stuff, but my actual trade skills were in the acknowledgement of how to mix chemicals, the chemistry that was involved. I remember the first time I learned that the majority of food and drink spills are going to be acid. And so that's why we use an alkaline in almost all of our cleaning products. Little technical understandings like that is what made me say, I need to stay in the cleaning business, and that's where I'm going to grow. And that ended up being my core business that provided my lifestyle. Outside of, what's your core skill set, understanding where your money's at, I think also you need to be focusing on what the opportunity is with the customer base. I've heard somebody in the past say getting a newspaper business is a bad idea because print is dying.
Yeah, I used to deliver newspapers, so that's long gone. But I think you got to do a few things. Is this a repeatable business model? Are you going to get a customer and never do business with them again? Or are you going to be going there over and over? I want a business like that. Number two, are there, whatever your avatar for your business is, for me, it's apartment complexes and condo associations, are there hundreds or even thousands of them? Thousands. Yes. You can't do a business and there's only 17 in your town. How do you get thousands of people and then sell that service? So I want those two things. For going back to your skill set, if you're weak in areas, that's where you got to really know, like, I'm good at marketing, I'm good at different things. And then if you're not good at, say, customer service or clerical stuff or tax, like, you got to then put the team together to do that. What too many people do is they don't learn that till like 2 or 3 years later. They're trying to do bookkeeping, they're trying to do things they suck at. Hire people who can do it. You can hire people literally virtually now. Yeah. For very low cost, who are much better than you at that.
Yeah, I heard a talk about being a rounded stone or being the stone with all the sharp edges, and our society teaches us to be rounded stones, and as an entrepreneur you feel like you have to because you don't have the money to hire out those things. But with this age that we're in and the opportunity with virtual assistants and what I've seen just with our partnership and the stuff we've done and watching you utilize virtual assistants across the seas has really expanded the opportunity. And I realized that there's not as much risk with a business startup at this point, because before you would leverage your personal home to get business credit to be able to go and buy all of the stuff you needed to start a business because everything had to be brick and mortar kind of startup. But now that startup cost is diminished dramatically.
You don't want brick and mortar.
Yeah.
I wouldn't look at anything.
Yeah, yeah. and plus, with as many baby boomers that's retiring, startup is a very foolish thought in my opinion. And we both preach this. Look for a business to buy first and make the phone calls because nobody's calling these individuals.
Well, this is how I look at it. If I do this thing in my life, I'll say Kevin A and Kevin B. Mm-hmm. If Kevin A goes and starts up a business, pressure washing, whatever, in 2 years, how much is he really going to be making? But if I take Kevin B and it already has $250,000 of cash flow after debt service, there's no way Kevin A will ever catch Kevin B. It will, in 2 years.
I love that analogy.
So like, once you know that, you can't do it. But what the obstacle people get is say, well, I don't have any money. Mm-hmm. You need money to buy a business, but it doesn't have to be yours.
That's it. It doesn't have to be yours. It can be what? Where would you?
People's money. It could be seller financing. Every business I ever bought had some type of seller financing. Everyone.
Yeah.
The bank, SBA loans. So let's look at a deal like if it's $1 million, you need 10% down if you're getting an SBA. Mm-hmm. It's $100,000. But let's say you say to the seller, hey, I'll give you $1 million, but I need 20% seller financing.
Right.
So now you really only need $800,000. Mm-hmm. Then you go to the SBA, and they're still going to want you to put 10% down because of the original price.
Right.
Because they want to know you have skin in the game.
Right.
But that's going to be $100,000, and then they're going to finance $700,000. Yeah. So you say, well, how do I get $100,000? I grew up thinking, who has $100,000 dump into my business?
Yeah.
But the truth is, they're everywhere.
There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money out there. And I think that's where you really got to get out and start having conversations and getting in the right rooms, because if you don't realize there's a lot of money out there, it's because you hang around broke folks.
Yep.
But as soon as you start hanging around business owners, typically, they do have money. And you realize their problem, they have different problems than broke folks. They're trying to figure out where to put their money so that it's making some and it's beating inflation. So all you need to do is be a reputable jockey, as you might say, that they are willing to bet on. So this goes back to, what does your past history look like? Have you job hopped, boom, boom, boom? Have you been fired because you didn't show up for jobs? All of this stuff is your track record, your resume, to be able to allow someone with money, private money, to trust in you that they're going to put it in an asset, that's going to give them a return on an investment.
To be investable, you have to have two things. You have to have you're buying a good business, mm-hmm. so it makes sense, the numbers make sense, but then people bet on the jockey. We saw a good model in the windshield business. We were like, I like that. But if it was the wrong person, we weren't buying that business.
No way. And the longer we play this game, the more I realize how there's so much opportunity for someone that's ambitious, someone that's disciplined, someone that's consistent, to be able to hook up with someone that's got a little bit of disposable cash, that's willing to diversify into a business. I mean, America was built on business, small business, and then they found real estate to use as a tax shelter. But it always comes back to small business, because that's the fastest creation of money. And we need that small business to be able to produce and provide solutions for people in our country, and it's never going away. So for you to be able to for someone to bet on, you've got endless possibilities. It doesn't matter what industry, doesn't matter what business. You just need to show that you're a good bet.
Absolutely.
And we've seen those good bets in these communities of Blue Collar Millionaire, inside Boardroom Elite. And that's how we got into this one glass windshield replacement company.
We watched him.
He did the work.
He did the work. We were both impressed. I think one day we talked about it. We were like, yeah, we both invest in him.
Yeah.
In the group, we knew what three people were doing the most work.
That is probably one of the biggest takeaways that people need to pull from this podcast, is the fact that, are you doing actions that make people look and say, yeah, I would bet on him because he's a sure bet. It doesn't matter we understand that things go sideways at times, but is he willing to stick it out and do whatever it takes to make it work out?
Or are you a guy who he's in NFTs, then he's in crypto, then he's
all over the place.
Cars.
Yeah.
He's all over the place. People who have money are watching that from a distance, and they're like, nah, I'm not doing that. You're going to mess up my money.
The other thing that I think we should talk about is this also a business that's going to be still have a use case in a down economy? Because you can see some of these businesses and their widgets that they sell, they're more they're not really needed. So when the economy starts to retract and people start really watching their income, they're going to it's going to go. First thing that goes. So what is something, these businesses need to be something that you can see people will still buy, even when money starts getting tight, when interest rates go up, when people start losing their jobs. That's where I would be focusing on after I get away from my core skill sets. And then I understand that there's a large amount of market opportunity for people to buy the service or product. Now, is it still going to be bought in a weak economy?
Absolutely. So is it recession-proof? And then the other one is technology going to mess it up?
Yes.
So that's why we like blue collar, ugly service businesses. You're in restoration.
Yeah.
There's no way, if your pipes burst, nothing else matters. You're definitely not thinking about going to the tanning salon.
No, absolutely not.
And if your money's tight, you start cutting everything.
Yes.
You cannot cut money on your roof.
Yes.
But then there's so many services, like even gutter cleaning, like I do. When the economy was shit in 2008, they were still getting their gutter cleaned. Like, they have to do it. What are they going to do?
Well, you're in the commercial aspect, so that's something that's going, if they neglect, cause so many other issues down the line because they neglected the gutter cleaning. You start seeing rot, and you start having water intrusion. Now you've got mold issues that are going to pop up from the water intrusion. So it's a service that is needed. And so I'm looking, here's another point. Is your customer base going to keep buying it because they have this level of lifestyle and this ego that they have to keep up in front of everyone? Or did they just have a little extra cash flow, very low middle class, they decided to hire you to do the lawn care instead of themselves? You're not going to see a multi-million-dollar neighborhood, the dude out there pushing his own lawnmower. Even if he's tight on his money, he's still going to keep that service in because he's got an ego thing. He's got an image he has to keep up.
Well, I've said before, your bank account will reflect your customer's bank accounts.
I love that.
If you are into million-dollar homes and up, in your landscape business, that landscaper is going to do much better than somebody servicing $300,000. I know it because I've been all those people. I had a $99,000 house, my first house. There was zero chance I was hiring anything out, none.
I used to be there as well.
Right? Now, there's zero chance I'm going to really do any of it.
Yeah.
It's just not what. But I knew that when I was young. I was driving 25 minutes to go back to go where all the money was.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who had a landscaping business in the town that I was in. I never understood why he got it. He was getting like half the price for the same size lawns.
Wow.
Plus, they never had any disposable income.
Yeah.
And they were arguing with him. No, we're going to do the bushes. No, I'll pull the tree out. You just bring it.
Yeah.
Like,
See, that's
where
not
I was
the
talking
customer.
to guys are like, just do it.
Yeah.
12 of them, good.
But I mean, that you really need to understand your avatar, and that's why you need to, if you've got any moment of time in business, to look back and see which ones you enjoyed servicing, which ones argue on the price, which ones don't argue on the price, which ones use you more frequently compared to the ones that barely use you, and when you show up it's a hot mess and you're having to almost do a restoration style service instead of a maintenance style service. The fourth point would be is how hard is it to train? There's a lot of services out there that have a ton of creativeness involved in the process. Like, think about interior design. Someone coming in, you got to have a very creative mind. So the scalability of an interior design business, it's scalable, but it's a lot harder to scale compared to the gutter cleaning or the pressure washing or the lawn care or the carpet cleaning or the restoration business, because then it's one core skill. I've got a step process I can walk. I don't have to figure out a color pattern based off of someone's unique desires, and every person has a unique desire when you move from person to person.
I always use McDonald's French fries as the analogy. I never made French fries at McDonald's, never worked there, but I could go there today. By Monday, I'll be doing it as good as anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
I like businesses like that because you have your pool of labor is massive. And I want to do the same thing over and over. So we're talking about gutter cleaning. It doesn't, every house, every building, it's just the same thing over and over. And a lot of people like that monotony.
Yeah.
And if you're doing custom cabinets, you got to get a carpenter who has a lot of experience and there's going to be problems on every single one. I don't like that business model. And you're never going back once you do those cabinets. They're going to be there for 38 years.
That's it. So repeatable business as well is very important to think about. So we got 4 main topics, and we'll sum up this podcast. One is start with your core skill sets. That way you reduce the learning curve. Number 2 is making sure that you have a large pool of potential customers. Number 3, what was number 3? I'm forgetting at the moment.
Is it a recession-proof business?
Yes.
And when it's a recession, you're also going to be able to sell it later.
That's right.
Because more people are going to see that. It's going to be much more sellable.
Absolutely. And then number 4 is this a business that's going to require a ton of creativity, or is it something that you can put in a process and it's just repetitive over and over again?
And what you said, it's not forever. It could be.
Yeah.
But a lot of these businesses, they're just going to get you to the next thing. It's like a starter home. Nobody starts off in a $2 million home.
That's right. Such a great point. So it's going to change your life. Business will, whether you're starting it up or whether you're buying it. We highly recommend that someone buys a business because there's too much opportunity right now and you're buying straight into money, which is the main reason most businesses never get past the 5-year mark, because they don't have enough income coming in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, y'all tune in for the next episode. We're going to keep dropping these nuggets, and we want to see you guys turn into blue collar millionaires. All right, Blue Collar Millionaires, if you want to see more of this, then check out our free Facebook group, Blue Collar Millionaire. You'll notice it by the logo. It's right here on my shirt. It's right here on our backdrop. Absolutely free, cost you nothing, but it's going to be worth millions of dollars to your business. The other place you can find us, if you want more close mentoring from me and Kevin, check us out on the Boardroom Elite. This is a subscription model right here. You do have to pay to get this access to me and Kevin, but you get access to us on a weekly basis, private Facebook group where you can get Q&A answered in real time. The next level, if you say $500 Boardroom Elite is too expensive for me right now, then you can plug in at a $79 with the Blue Collar Millionaire Accelerator. We're dripping this content every week, and then you get access to me and Kevin twice a month, and you get the private Facebook group for the Q&A. There's so many ways for you to level up. We want to see you become a blue collar millionaire, and more importantly, we want to see you netting not only $1 million, but multi-millions.